Here we have the 90-minute Funduro race then, hosted by NPM Racing and sponsored by Pure Racing. This one doesn't feature a safety car, so it's wheel to wheel all the way to the end of the line, 90 minutes. And of course it is an endurance race, so when that clock comes to zero, whatever lap you're on will be declared as your final lap, whether you're on your 5th lap or your 30th lap. Although if you're on your 5th lap, you probably haven't had a very good day. So let's wait for the camera to settle down. So as for the leaderboard so far, we have the Brazilian in first. Spider, host of the Pure Racing Safety Car Cup, is in second place. And Expert in third. With the Stone Stallion in fourth, followed by Stefan, the Swedish driver. He's always on some kind of smoke. Let's see if that's the same for this race. Ferrari driver Rick then, following Max in the Bumblebee. Nice shot as they come through here. It's a very long track. Average lap is always just above 2 minutes. Set to a 24-hour theme then as well. So I'm reckon about 20 minutes into the race it will turn night. And of course there's always dynamic weather, so there is potentially a risk of rain, for which they'll be checking their weather radars. And whoever pits at the right time, if that is the case, will come out on top. Cameron Rick then in 8th place, following Max in the Bumblebee. As they come through to finish their first lap. Cameron Moose or Mouse, he is currently in. I've lost his name on the board now, so that was a terrible time to start talking about him. Crispy in 12th place, can't throw the vertical. And D in 10th, I believe. Yeah. So second lap begins. We have a Lamborghini driver, Porsche driver on our screens right now to come around to turn 1, and we have somebody pitting. So they've started the race on intermediate tyres, which obviously didn't work out for them. A pit on your second lap when everyone's full speed ahead is never a good day. There were concerns about the weather as the race started, so you know, some drivers were talking about which tyres they were putting, whether they should put on wet tyres, intermediate tyres or dry tyres to start the race. Because the conditions did look a bit unpredictable. Only one driver then, as far as I can tell, selected the intermediate tyre, and it has not paid off so far. The race is completely dry and the weather looks good. So Cameron the Stone Stallion now in 4th place, following Expert, who is following Spider from Pure Racing. Brazilian still in 1st place. There is quite a gap between him in terms of pace and a lot of the other drivers. Although never a gap too big, I'm sure someone will figure out a way to close that. Cameron Rick in the bright red Ferrari. Of course it shows the right colour there. Max in the yellow Bumblebee, 7th place now. So I believe he's one upper place, unless I'm remembering that wrong. So once again, to go over the order, we have the Brazilian in 1st place, Spider in 2nd place, Expert still in 3rd place, Stone Stallion is in 4th place, Stefan in 5th place, Moose in 6th place, and 7th place is Max in the Bumblebee, and Rick in 8th place. So we're on to finish their second lap then, so on to their 3rd lap. 1 hour and 30 minutes of this endurance race. Who will hold out? Who will fall? That is the question. Once we get on Rick. Now we are on a slightly controversial name, but just call him the green car. We got Crispy in 11th place then, driving the Lamborghini. A BMW N60 and a golden Porsche driver sporting the NPM livery, of course. I believe there are 2 cars on the grid right now, representing some sort of MPM related livery, although we may see more. I may have missed a few details in the other liveries. So first place once again, a big gap between the leader and the rest of the grid then. And you can see by his lap time, a best of 2:17, which is miles quicker than some of the drivers on this grid. But there are certainly other drivers that can compete with that in some sense. So if that gap remains big enough, that will be too much of the first place car. If we want to keep it interesting, we don't need an hour and 30 minutes of a car driving around on his own, like he's off to the shops. Next, and then the Bumblebee, followed by Rick, who is following closely and closing that gap. He'll be looking to take that 7th position as they come through the flying left-hand turn. If you get it right, you don't really need to touch the brakes on that corner, aside from slightly upon entry. 7th place for the Bumblebee, 6th place for Stepper, 5th place for Moose or Mouse. It is, where's 5th place? 5th. I've lost the number on the board again, but there he is. So the camera right now is on Stefan. Very fast driver, one of the fastest drivers in this league. Majority of the sessions I've seen him in, I've seen the fastest lap up there on the board. Don't matter how well you think your lap's gone, as soon as Stefan drops a lap, your ego gets a little bit of a hit. But a bit of friendly competition never hurts then, so camera's still on the Swedish driver as they come along to finish their 3rd lap and begin their 4th lap. They'll be just under 40 laps, I believe, in this hour and a half period. Cameron spotted them as they come down into Rouge. Very fast corner, very deadly. A lot of things can go wrong, especially if the weather's not right. Very dangerous corner. This is a very interesting car. It looks like it shouldn't be in this group, but it certainly should be. Very nice car. Got the bright pink wheels to just contrast the entire rest of the vehicle. Camera once again on Spider. This is, of course, the safety car driver for the pure race and safety car competition. So it's always interesting to see the safety car abilities come into play, I suppose, when it comes to doing some real racing. No safety car featured in this race, as mentioned. So everyone will be essentially relying on fuel consumption and making sure their tires are conserved for the hour and 30 minutes of this race. Once again, camera on Spider. The Brazilian still in 1st place. 3rd place still remains Expert. Stone Stallion still in 4th place. Moose in 5th place. Stefan in 6th place. And Max and the Bumblebee is in 7th place. Rick in 8th place. And anyone lower than that currently can't be seen. There's a lot of nice liveries on this grid. All of these cars have something to look at, which is always good, always interesting. The Porsche always looks good around this track, and it feels good around this track too. It's one of those cars that certainly do what you want it to do. Max and the Bumblebee then followed very closely by Rick. I think we may see a little battle shape up between those two. And let's see who comes out on top. Rick is certainly closing the gap. I'm not sure if that's him gaining speed or Max having lost speed. But I suppose whatever the cause is, it doesn't matter. Either way, somebody is coming in very close. Controversial name in 9th place. Deep Bardo in 10th place, and then we had Tarts, we'll call him, in 11th place. He's good 12. Yeah, car in 13th place, followed by Eddie in 14th, and the Milkman in 15th place. 16 spots on this grid, of course. So Rick is coming over a pit stop now. The skies look a bit grey. I presume they've checked their river radars, and they're predicting a change of tyres now. There is no water on the track there, So the only logical choice would be an intermediate if you were going to use a wet tyre. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 drivers pitting for intermediate tyres or wet tyres. The 88 car then, the Porsche, the golden Porsche with the MPM livery. Also switching to the intermediate tyre. Eddie in 14th then, and we're starting to see a little bit of range ups on this track. You might see the glare from some of the windows as they fly past. You see those droplets of rain there. But still questionable, the choice to go into the intermediate may have been too soon. And as I say that, we hear the range ups now. So we'll see how that shapes out. See if it's a good idea for the other guys to stick on the dry tyre. We have a half-second penalty then for D. Bardi. Crispy in 9th place in the Lamborghini. The controversial name in 7th place in the bright green car. And the bright yellow car, the Bumblebee, driven by Max, of course. And Cameron's got Stefan as they near finishing their 5th lap and beginning their 6th lap in this endurance race. So we have the first place car pitting for stops. And those previous pit stops were perfectly timed. By the looks of it, the moment they came out of the pits, the rain was pretty bad. So I presume they're going to have the advantage now. Although the first place car is so far ahead that I highly doubt his pit stop is really going to affect him at all. Pit crew's out there waiting for the Stone Stallion. Expert also coming in for a tyre change, followed by Stefan. We have somebody, I believe he's staying out, although he may have been one of the drivers that pitted. My memory may have failed me. Looks like the camera's malfunctioning. Not very common, but can happen when conditions change. Rick then, on the perfect tyre by the seams of it. Everyone else lives around the track, struggling to even drive in a straight line, and Rick flies through after a perfectly timed pit stop. Bardo then in 10th place. Crispy 9th place. That will be the least dramatic overtake you have ever seen in an endurance race. Third place for the 88 car, the golden Porsche, was part of the bunch that of course did that change over to the intermediate tyre. So although he doesn't seem as fast as the others, he will have the same sort of advantage against everyone else that didn't pit for the wet tyre and stayed out for an extra lap on the dry tyre. Whether they weren't checking their weather radars or they predicted the wind would go the other way. But for whatever reason, most of the grid thought it would be cool to stay out for another lap, and unfortunately that did not work in their favour. The green card in. Not having a good day at all. He's driving on ice. And through goes the 88 car, taking up the 9th place, bringing him to 8th on the 6th lap of this endurance race. We started set up first week in 9th in the Ferrari. So to go for the board, the Brazilian driver still in first, Spider still in second, Expert still in third, Stefan is now in 4th, and the Stone Stallion is in 5th place. Rick in 6th place, as we can see. Very nice looking Ferrari. Following that's the Stone Stallion, I believe, yeah. As they fly around this corner. You can see the spray from these cars, and the Stone Stallion has a 3-second penalty, so that will essentially give the spot away to Rick if he fails to catch him with a penalty like that. I think it's time to hang up the hats, course, you won't be trying too hard to overtake or gain speed. Now that the person in front of him has the penalty, it's always safest to just allow them to get into the penalty zone and slow down, and there he is. So Rick's taking the 5th position. Stepping in 4th, followed by Rick into the final turns and on to start their 7th lap then. So the weather almost looks like it's heavy wet, but the intermediate tyres look like they're working perfectly because the cars are equally dry in the line as the rain makes the line wet. It looks like the actual rainfall has stopped now, so it'll just be a case of staying on the intermediate tyre until the line dries up enough to switch to a hard tyre or a soft or medium tyre. So we got Spider in 2nd place still, following the Brazilian. Very nice shot there of the Nissan. We have Expert in 3rd place. Very nice car, certainly stands out. Rick in 4th place now then. So they're fixed up as perfect time. And those intermediate tyres will last them a few extra laps as well, because although it's no longer raining by the looks of it, that didn't last very long. But the track itself was starting to dry up, and the Nissan driver then, Spider, loses control a little bit in the fast left-hander. The Brazilian, 1st place. Still a very big gap between him and the rest of the pack. He could pull over right now if he wanted to, and by the time he set off again, I think he would still be in the lead. A few shots of this Nissan him. At the moment, not really a lot going on in the race. Rain usually does one or two things. It either separates people because of their tactics so much that you don't see a lot going on, or it brings everyone closer together, and obviously there's a lot of crashing and a lot of DNFs. 7th place for the 88 car then. A golden Porsche with the MPM livery. Max and the Bumblebee, 8th place. The Ken Block tribute livery. That's a very nice shot. Not a lot going on for him then. No one's close enough behind him, and no one's close enough in front of him. So really it's just trying to beat your fastest lap each lap to pick up your speed a bit. And another Nissan driver then, following Eddie, who is in 9th place, who will be following Max, who is far ahead in 8th place, and the Nissan driver in 10th has spun out. That's not a good day for him. Not sure if it was him we saw spin before, but that is not looking good. A half-second penalty for the Lamborghini driver there, Crispy. We'll get into the penalty zone then and slow down, and that will give the Barter the opportunity to take that 10th position from him. As they come into the final turns and begin their 8th lap of this race, so 8 out of the hour and 30. The skies starting to darken, of course, slowly as time progresses, and the nighttime section of this race will be an interesting one. So we have the Stone Stallion in 6th place, ahead of the 88 car. What looks to be a decent gap behind him. It's another driver that I don't think will have to worry too much. No one in front, no one behind. It's just a case of driving and beating those previous laps. The Brazilian driver with a 2:17, which will likely remain the fastest lap. have Rick and Expert, I believe. Yeah, Rick and Expert. And it looks like they're locked into a battle right now. So we'll keep an eye on them. See if anything interesting happens. So far so good for Rick then in 3rd place. So he's taken that position away from Expert. The classic red versus blue on the grid right now. As they come into the final turns to begin their 9th lap of the race. Rick is holding a decent gap there, and I believe Expert has just gone into the pits, so that is a surrender as far as the battle goes, and that will leave Rick with a decent advantage to Stefan in 4th place, who is no doubt looking to take that position. So we have Expert and the Storm Stallion, who were on full wet tyres, pitting presumably to change to a dry tyre now. And this is where the intermediate had the advantage. If you can maintain control of it in the heavy rain, when the track begins to dry up, you have an advantage. Because dry tyres are too dry right now, but a full wet tyre is not very good in these conditions either, because the track itself is still slightly wet. Nissan driver then, following the Brazilian driver in 1st place, following from a mile, but he is following. His last lap was a 2:32. That may have been a pit lap. What's got another Brazilian driver then? Headlights on, so his time is taking its toll. As we make our way into the nighttime part of this race. Rick in the Ferrari following Spider. Be interested to see if anybody catches the top 2 drivers, and we might see a battle within the podium fight. But Stefan is making us some decent ground on Rick. I'm sure we'll see him fight for that position shortly. The Brazilian once again coming into Eau Rouge with his headlights on. Of course, that corner becomes a lot riskier at night time, because you can only see as far as your headlights will allow you to see. Rick having a little slide there, followed by Stefan, who by the looks of it has closed that gap a little bit more, and they both come into the pits, presumably for the full dry tyre, whether that be soft, medium or hard. Stefan was on a full wet then, Rick on an intermediate. The 88 car then, one of the teams that didn't come with the full tyres yet, so although it rained, their only option was an intermediate tyre. Luckily it seemed to have paid off, because if they needed a full wet, that would have went horribly wrong for them. 3rd place then for the 88 car, as the cars ahead of him have pitted. So he'll now be following Spider and the Brazilian driver, although the likelihood of him catching those drivers is precisely 0. Into a Rouge then. Porsche looks good. Camera on the Brazilian then. And the cars look very nice in the night time, of course, with the headlights on. You can't see much of the car, so it gives a nice dramatic shot, a nice dramatic effect. Spider and the Nissan, followed by the 3rd place car. "24 or so minutes into this race then. So we round it up, about an hour to go. Spider in the Nissan once again, followed by the third place car, the number 88 car. A bit of a loss of grip there. Don't know whether that was smoke or water coming off of those tyres, but either way, it will be a pit stop for the first place car, as the second and third car come to finish their 10th lap. The number 88 car through the darkness of the Spa track. Another interesting thing about this track, when the weather is bad, because of the size of it, you'll have dry sections and wet sections, or you know, it may be raining more in one place than another. So although it's no longer raining, certain areas of the track will still be drier than others, and it'll be interesting, especially off the line. Once you switch to a dry tyre, you really need to be able to stick to the racing line, because once you go off of it, you're dealing with essentially bits of the road that haven't been dried up. So Spider takes the first position in front of Brazilian there, and the 88 car will also pit behind him. X-Bat then, shining in the darkness then with the neon effect on his car. So you certainly won't miss him. Although, he certainly didn't miss the wall, and he's spun. So it's not looking good. Not looking good for X-Bat. The Star Stallion in 11th in the green Porsche. Headlights in the darkness. I don't believe there's too many people around him, so he'll just be focusing on catching the 10th place car, if he can. And he won't have to worry too much about defending. Won't have to be looking in his mirrors too often. Not that you can see much in your mirrors in the dark, but there's some headlights behind you. And once they get closer, of course, you can be blinded slightly. 12th place for the Star Stallion, who has spun, and that is not looking good for him. He's now in 13th place, so the Milkman has taken that split. So to check the board again, we have Spider in first place, Brazilian in second place, Stefan the Swede in third place, and between that and 11th place we cannot see them currently. But X-Bat in 11th place, the Milkman in 12th place, the Star Stallion in 13th place, Crispy in 14th place, and Tots in 15th place. 11 laps completed then. We're looking at Stefan. His last lap was a pit lap. So that lap time we won't be worried about too much. Spider is now in the pits as well, so he stayed out on an intermediate tyre, and by the looks of it will be one of the last people to pit. Rick in 4th place in the Ferrari, Stefan in 3rd once again, and as it stands, the Brazilian has not yet, and as I speak, he has just taken that first place position back into Rouge. Very high speed corner. You can see yellow flags ahead of him there, and a blue flag for the car in front of him, meaning to allow the faster car to pass. And he has gotten past the lapped car, which is a Lamborghini. Not sure who's driving at the minute, but I'm sure the camera will pan to them at some point. Spider, once again, 2nd, 3rd place Stefan, 4th place Rick, 5th place Luis, 6th place with the controversial name, 7th place for the 88 car, 8th place to Max, the host, of course, of this MPM race. Be interesting to see the CEO of the FIA hop in the Formula 1 car. Stefan then, still in third place. Following Spider. And he's either close behind or that's a lap car. I can't quite tell from the darkness. But I'm sure he will be fighting to pick up that position. And I can see it happening. I'm sure he'll manage that if he plays his cards right. Musi in 5th place then. Having a bit of drama. Lost control of the car a little bit there. Presumably he's touched the wetter part of the track. But managed to hang on just about 31 minutes into this session then. Stefan in 3rd. So the top 3 remains unchanged. We're getting driver at 1st, Spider in 2nd, and Stefan in 3rd. As I said before, one of the fastest drivers in the MPM Racers series. Right there in a Ferrari. You can't miss the Ferrari's headlights. You got their the bright yellow compared to the other cars, of course. You see the glow of the brakes in the darkness from how hot those brakes are and how fast the cars are driving when they enter that braking zone. To brake as late as possible, of course. Stefan once again then, followed by Rick. Down into a Rouge. This is where Rick will be hoping for a nice mistake for Stefan, so he can take advantage of that. But so far all is good for the Swedish driver. And Rick has nothing to take advantage of at the moment. It's purely down to speed. You have yellow flags, so there is a crash in that particular sector ahead of Stefan, Brazilian driver then, and the Nissan driver, Spider, from the Pure Racer series. The expert is coming out of the pits. I'm not sure which compound he was on or which one he switched to, but he went in and now he's coming out. Spider once again. Stefan 3rd place as it stands, that has not changed. Rick's still in 4th place, and I believe he's gaining some time. And the fastest lap remains the Brazilian driver with a 2:17. Stefan, of course, will be looking to catch Spider, and as we speak, he's gone and done it, taking that 2nd place back from the Nissan driver. Rick Caldwell in 4th place, Moose in 5th place, Controversy in 6th place, and Max, Ian the Bumblebee, is in 7th place, followed by the Milkman in 8th place, and anyone lower than that cannot be seen. So you're on lap 12 or 13, that's just it, of this race. Stefan then, headlights in the darkness, followed by the Nissan, and the unmissable headlights of the Ferrari driver. One of the more unique sounds on the track. You can identify a Ferrari just by the sound of it, especially in the darkness. That's often your only choice. 35 minutes into the session then. And we have Rick in 4th place, Spider in 3rd place, Stefan in 2nd place, and the Brazilian driver is in 1st place. The host of this session then, Max in the Bumblebee, is in 7th place. Lucy coming up for a pit stop with 0 litres of fuel, so he's going to need to refuel that car. And his tyres may not even be worn relative to what they could be. But of course, fuel consumption is something to watch out for, and oftentimes you see drivers coming into the pits with relatively fresh tyres because their fuel is completely zero. Some drivers will go full speed ahead on fuel mapping 1 and try to make up the time that they lose in a pit stop, whilst others would rather conserve tyres and turn that fuel mapping down, or conserve fuel I should say, although they do equally affect one another. Stefan still in second place, following the Brazilian driver. There is a big old gap between them though. So far the Brazilian looks untouchable. A half-second penalty then for the Nissan driver, Spider, which potentially will give the car behind him in 5th place an opportunity to take his position if he is close enough. Although for right now I cannot see how close they are, so that may not be the case. Rick made a little mistake there then. He may have touched the wetter part of the track. And Spider is just about to serve his half-second penalty. Rick following in 4th place, and he may just be close enough to take advantage of a half-second penalty. Of course, the penalties work a little bit differently on here than you would usually see. So rather than it just be a time added onto the board, the car has to physically slow down for half a second, which in most cases means your penalty can actually be more than the time displayed. Ferrari driver then, Rick in 4th place still, following Spider, who's just had to slow down a bit, so that will give him a little bit of a knock, although he seems far enough ahead for it to not be too much of a problem as they come into turn 1. Into a rouge then for the 15th time of this race. The glow from the green car here over those brakes. He was also now coming into turn 1 to begin his 15th lap of the race. 38 minutes into this endurance session. Just under 1 hour to go. Max in the yellow Bumblebee, but unfortunately you cannot see the bright yellow of the yellow Bumblebee anymore. But 6th place for him, the Brazilian will go over the board again in 1st place. The Swedish driver in 2nd place. Spider is in 3rd place, Rick is in 4th place. Controversial green car is in 5th place. Bumblebee in 6th place. The Millman in 7th place, although he is now pinned, so T-Body may be able to take up that position. And he's just done it, so T-Body over to 7th place, and the Millman is now in 8th place. Anyone lower than that cannot be seen at the moment. A little mistake there for Spider, and Rick takes the 3rd place position. With no effort at all then, that was given away. The controversial green car again is still in 5th place, and he will now be following Spider, who was just in 3rd place. He won't be happy with himself, however he is very close to the Ferrari driver, so I'm sure he can take that position back. And the Ferrari driver makes a mistake, so an eye for an eye. And I think we'll see a little battle shape out between these two, which should be interesting as we come to the darkest parts of the night session. And into the final turn, I believe, yeah. Ferrari driver still behind Spider into turn 1. It'll be interesting how this shapes out as they go to a rouge. A very fast, very dangerous corner, of course. So if Spider is to make a mistake, then Rick will of course have the opportunity to take advantage of it. And if you make a mistake in a rouge, you've made a mistake, and he will be getting past you. There's no small mistakes in that corner. It's either into the wall, or you do it right. Spider's still in 3rd. yellow lights of the Ferrari, creeping up behind him. It looks like he may go for a move, and he has just about done that. Spider now in third. Rick has had to cut the track a little bit there. Not uncommon in these sort of heated battles, especially in the darkness when you can't see too much. Sometimes it's hard to predict exactly where you are, and oftentimes you are just relying on your memory of the track when it was, you know, daytime. Third place then, Spider. Position taken back after a small battle, but I'm sure Rick will be coming back to reclaim that third place. The yellow lights of the Ferrari, eyes on the Nissan driver then. The gap may seem notable, but I'm sure that battle will pick up again at some point. The controversial green car then still in 5th place. 6th place for the Bumblebee driver. Max, of course, host of the session. So we'll go over the board again. The Brazilian driver still in 1st place with a huge gap between him and the rest of the grid. Stefan is in 2nd place, the Swedish driver. Spider is in 3rd place. Rick is in 4th place. And the controversial green car is in 5th place. Max in 6th place. Moose in 7th place. Crispy in 8th place. Bardo in 9th place in the pits. And as it stands, anyone lower than that cannot be seen. The 88 car then in 10th place, as we can see on the board. We are now looking at Crispy, the Ferrari driver. And that is not a Ferrari, that is a Lamborghini. The darkness has got the best of me there. The red front end of that car, yeah, in the darkness, and my brain goes straight to Ferraris. Crispy in 8th place, then we have Eddie in 9th. Milkman in 10th place, followed by the 88 car in 11th, the British driver, Bardo in 12th place, Expat in 13th place, followed by the Stern Stallion in 14th place, Tartsel in 15th place, and I believe that closes off the grid. Lap 16, a 0.5 second penalty for the Stern Stallion. Another set of yellow headlights then. Not a Ferrari, of course. However, I believe they are the only 2 cars on this grid with yellow headlights. The difference being nice and clear though between them. That makes things easier. Of course, in this darkness, the majority of what we can see of the cars is nothing but the headlights. So we misname a few cars from time to time. That may happen. But as long as we know who's driving it, we have the Brazilian driver then, who's just begun his 18th lap. Stefan, who's about to begin his 18th lap. The Swedish driver in 2nd place. Spider is still in 3rd place and Rick is still in 4th place. May have seeded this battle, but he is following behind. Max in 5th place, following Rick, and Max is followed by the 6th place green controversial name, 7th for Moose, and 8th place for Crispy. So Spider is now in the pits, so Rick will take advantage of that and pick up the 3rd place position that he's been hunting for. Although inevitably he was going to have to pit, so the flip will likely the script will likely flip into a Rouge. I believe that's a lapped car. Yeah, blue flags. So I'm not sure why he's acting as if he can't spell his own name against one of the front runners. then. Through cleanly. Despite a driver over listening problem being in his way. Flying then in a Ferrari. As an expert, I believe I see. Slightly confused as to what a blue flag means. Don't let the colour of his car fool you. He does not seem to be aware of the meaning of the blue flag. Max in 4th place. In the yellow Bumblebee. Even at night time, you can somewhat distinguish the colour of that car. And of course there's a few floodlights around the track. A very nice sound echoes from that car. 5th place then the controversial green car, followed by Max very closely. Although maybe a bit of an exaggeration, but he is there. And I'm sure he'll do whatever we can to take that position. 47 minutes into this 90-minute race then, an hour and 30. The 18th lap, we have the Brazilian in 1st, Stefan in 2nd, Rick in 3rd, Max in 4th. Followed by the controversial green car in 5th. Spider in 6th, Moose in 7th, and Crispy in 8th. Anyone lower than that currently cannot be seen. Still the fastest lap remains the same lap. Nobody else is beating it, but neither has himself. For the Brazilian driver with a 2:17. Controversial green car then come at the finish is 18th lap. In 5th position. Another car with the yellowish headlights, one of the few, which makes it slightly easier to pick them out in the darkness. The bright yellow Ken Block tribute car then into the final turns and to begin his 90th lap of the race. Rick in 3rd place, followed by Max. Stefan in, still in 2nd place, followed by Rick in the Ferrari. Who will presumably be looking to take that position. And if he's not, I'll be very shocked. Stefan in, once again in the Porsche. And eyes on Rick. Eyes what to go on Stefan. Not sure how close behind Rick is, but we may eventually see a battle between those two. Let's see how this shapes out. So we got a lapped Lamborghini behind Stefan. The Brazilian still in 3rd and 1st, I should say, and a couple of universes ahead of the rest of the cars. Quadruple headlights over the BMW, I believe. Very boxy car compared to the shapes of the other cars. So yeah, it's blue flags out for the Lamborghini behind Stefan. Fortunately, he's not causing too much trouble. Some do understand the blue flag, which is always good to see. Rick then in the pits with 10 litres of fuel. So it's a change and a refuel for him. Stefan remains in 2nd place. His last lap was 2:23. The lap before that was 2:22. So he can do better, and he will be looking to do better. Rick is he remains in 3rd place because of the big gap behind him, which is also a positive for him. Although, as I've said that, he is now in 5th place. And Spider to third place, Max in fourth place now. The Brazilian driver then. Rouge starting his 21st lap, followed by the Swedish driver in the Porsche. At this point it is truly a night race. Spider then, I believe, with a penalty, followed very closely by Max in the yellow Bumblebee. Stefan, the Swedish driver, is now pitted. So a fuel stop and a tyre change. We also have Crispy in 8th place pitting. So yeah, we have a half-second penalty for Spider. So that may give Max an opportunity to at least catch him, if not take the third position. Towards the, who are we looking at here? We have Stefan getting his fuel done. Spider remains in third, and towards the end of this lap, they will hopefully be looking to take that second position from the Swedish driver. Blue flags ahead. Muse in 5th place. Max in 4th. Down into Rouge then, out of turn 1. Will he make it through there again? So far no problems. Camera on Spider then. Max being followed very closely by, I believe, a lapped car. And a little mistake for Rick, it seems, in turn 1. Which may have been a result of the lapped car. And if it was, then I would not be very pleased, considering he was under blue flag conditions. Camera on Max then. Blue flags for Max. Doesn't have too much to worry about then, other than a few cars around him. However, I'm not sure whether they are lap cars or competitive cars, so that confuses things a little bit for him. It's always difficult to know when there are a few lap cars on the grid who you should risk fighting and who's just a lap car that's sort of in the way. To finish their 21st lap. The Swedish driver then in the Porsche. 3rd place still. Spider still in 2nd place, and the Brazilian driver in 1st place. It's looking like that's not going to change anytime soon. Hence the cameras aren't focused too much on that driver for the sake of keeping it entertaining. Eyes on Stefan then. Followed by Moose in 4th place. Max is pitted now, with only a litre of fuel left in his car for a tyre change and a fuel stop for him. Same goes for the lead car. Although I think the lead car would have lapped quite a lot of cars by now, so he won't have to worry too much in that pit stop about position being taken. Into the left-hander lever, Spider and eyes on the leading car in the pits, getting the refuel. Eyes on Spider once again as he flies through the left-hand turn. Very fast corner, as you can see from those shots. Camera on Moose, 4th place. So from top to bottom again, we will go through the grid. 1st place is the Brazilian. 2nd place, Spider. 3rd place, Stefan. 4th place, Moose. 5th place, Rick. 6th place, Max. 7th place, the controversial green car. 8th place to the Star Stallion, and anyone lower than that cannot be seen. The headlights for its Ferrari then, as you can't miss, it's starting to lighten up, so this will eventually fade into a day race once again. All the drivers have safely made it through the night, or at least the majority of the drivers that we've been able to see. To the final test then, and onto the start of the next lap. 23 laps into this race. 57 minutes out of the 90 minutes. So we are reaching the latest stages of the session. Spider then, still in 2nd place, carrying his strong fleet of Rouge. Very high speed, however Stefan is very close behind him and he will be looking to take the 2nd position back. Moose following in 4th place. Rick following Moose in 5th place. In that Ferrari as we reach the daytime of this session. So vision will improve now. The racing lines will likely improve. The speed potentially will improve. And people will become a little bit more confident now that they've not got too many vision issues to worry about. Somebody coming out of the pits there comes out ahead of Rick. However, he's a lapped car, so that will not be a problem as long as it doesn't get in the way. Cameron Houston, 4th place. And then Stefan in the Porsche in 3rd place. The Swedish driver coming to the latest stages of his run. Or I should say more about the... So onto the final sort of section of the track. The Brazilian driver, I believe, has already started his 24th lap. So that is quite an advantage for him. And I don't see that anyone's going to catch him on his 23rd lap. "59 minutes into the session and eyes on Stefan in the Porsche. Moose following behind in his Nissan, I believe I'm looking at here. In the green and black Nissan from Moose. Nice shot there as they've completely reached daytime now. So you don't have to worry about the darkness. I remember at the start of this race we had about 2 laps of torrential rain. Then we've had darkness, a little bit of jumper going on for a lap car behind there. So yeah, we've had an interesting race in terms of conditions. It's certainly been a test of skill. From rain, pit tactics to darkness. There's been a lot of obstacles thrown at them. We've now reached 1 hour in this race, so 30 minutes to go. Eyes on the green Nissan. third place for the Swedish driver. Following Spider in second place, who is following the Brazilian driver. Although I highly doubt anybody's going to catch the Brazilian driver, unfortunately. And you know, unless he makes a big mistake, and if that is the case, then that will take a bit of the spice away from this race. However, there's plenty of entertainment to be had in the midfield. Of course, there's still 2 podium spots. There are very much enough room between them to fight for, being the third place and second place spots. Camera on the Swedish driver then in the final parts of this track. Once again, camera on Moose in the green Nissan as he reaches the later stage of this lap as well. Plus a second on his previous lap, so he won't be too happy with it. Spider then, bit of a fuel and a tyre change. Whether he will change compound or stick to the compound that he's currently on, it remains to be seen. However, he's now exiting the booth. No, that's the entry. They look very similar, very long pit entry on this track. So in he comes here. Pit crew is ready.